Welcome to Hallyu Cafe. Come in and let's have a chat. 여러분, 안녕하세요. 저는 니키입니다. Hi everybody, it's Nikki. Welcome to another episode of Hallyu Cafe. This week I thought I would share with you how I am learning Korean. What apps I use to learn Korean, what books I use, or other little tips and tricks for it. Now I want to say that you can take the way I am learning Korean and apply it to whichever language you are learning. So for example, it would also work for Japanese or maybe even German, or a lot of the steps that I'm taking to learn Korean are very similar to how I learned English, since English isn't my first language. German is. So yes, you can take these steps and apply it to the language you are learning. I also want to say that when I first started really getting into Korean, I made the personal mistake of using romanization. Now, there's nothing wrong if romanization works for you. However, personally, it didn't work for me because it takes the sound the letter makes, or how you would sound it out. However, when you're actually speaking Korean, you drop certain things, certain sounds, or change the sound of it. And it's really hard to see that when you have it romanized. So I personally suggest just learn the alphabet, memorize the sound it makes, and then you can... It's a slow progress, I'm not gonna lie. But it only took me like a week of off and on learning the alphabet to really get it down. And then you can sit and start sounding out the words yourself, because you just don't say it exactly how it's romanized. So that would make it a little harder for you to learn, which you will see later on why I'm also saying this. Disclaimer, I am not sponsored in any way by any of the companies mentioned in this podcast. These are all my personal experiences with them. So again, I am not sponsored for this. So the first thing I use every day is Duolingo. They now have Korean that you can learn. I use Duolingo because Korean is a language that you need to be practicing every single day. If you don't do it every single day, at least a little bit, it's really, really easy for you to forget the way to sound it out or to speak it. You will forget little things here and there, which then can be a mess in a big way. So I, at least on busy days, I try to at least do the 20 XP. It sounds like a video game, but you can get like 20 XP, to keep your fire on in a way. So I do that every day, which Duolingo does the sounds. It tests you on the sounds. You get to see the character and you have to figure out what sound it makes, or it tells you the sound and you have to figure out the character. And then it starts dropping in, like this is at the beginning, this is not further down. And then it starts throwing in little words, or words you can make with the letters or characters that you've learned, or certain characters are already a word. So I think that's really great to keep it fresh in mind and not to forget the sounds and all of that good stuff. So the sounds is definitely something I work on every day. And then when I have days where I don't have a lot to do, I try to do as much as I can. I also want to say it's good to have a notebook and write the stuff down that you're learning. Personally, I learn better if I write it down. I memorize it easier. It's like a processor in a computer or something, if I write it, if I do the action of writing it out, my mind just processes it better. So I use Duolingo a lot. Then I also use Korean from Zero. I have the book. However, they also have a website where you can get all the material for free, or at least some of it. I know they have book 1 for free, and then they set the MP3 sounds for it, so you can, learn how to pronounce it. I also know that they do have Japanese from Zero, because I also have that book. So definitely see and check what other languages they have, because I'm not sure. I only know that they have Korean and Japanese. So it's Korean from zero. And I really, really do like that book. And it again goes into the sounds and how the alphabet is structured and the characters are structured and how to sound them out and all of that good stuff. So I really, really enjoy that book. Then another thing that I use is a little app called Korean Dungeon. It sounds really funny, but it's like a little video game for your phone. And it gives you, I think, 4 or 5 words. It shows you in the beginning the words that you'll be using in your little game or in your little level that you're going to be in. And again, you can turn romanization on. That's how I started. But I kept looking at the romanization, and then I couldn't read the actual word when it was just in Hangul, when it was just the characters. So now I don't use romanization on the game either. I only use the characters. And since I can sound it out, since I know the alphabet now. So you have those 4 or 5 words. And then you go into your level and there's bad guys. And the way you defeat the bad guys is by getting the correct answer. So it will give you the word in English and you have to find the Korean word, or it will give you the word in Korean and you have to find out what it means in English. And if the faster you get the answer, the more damage you do to that enemy. So I think it's a really, really cute app, but it's also very smart because it will train you to realize, to just see what the word means instead of having to sound it out. You will start recognizing patterns and recognizing composition of the characters and what sounds they make, and then learn the word from that. So I use that and it's really fun. There have been times where I didn't understand, especially when I used the romanization, what it would take me forever to figure out the word, or I would forget the word. And my little character thing would die. But now it's just easier. You get quicker because you have that time limit of how much damage it does to the enemy. But it's also different words. So usually what I do again, before the level starts, I will write down the words that I'll be learning in that little level. So then later I can go back and reread it and re-put it in the mind and process it. So I really suggest getting that one. They have that one for Japanese as well, which is called Japanese Dungeon. Yeah, Japanese Dungeon. I did not find it in the App Store for Apple. I know it's in the Google Play Store because I have an Android phone. I am not sure about the iPhone or the App Store in general. So you'd have to check. When I was doing research on it for my blog post, I didn't see it. So I'm really not sure. So I'm sorry if it's not available for Apple. Yes, let's move on. Something else I do is I watch a lot of Korean TV shows. I watch a lot of Korean dramas, variety shows, comedy shows, movies. Netflix has a lot of Korean now. Since I finished watching all of their Korean shows, all of a sudden more appeared. But I'm happy about that. On my computer, usually when I do work, I have a pretty big screen and I have it separated into two tabs or 2 windows. One window I'll do the work in, and then on the other I usually have YouTube or Netflix or something on, or Viki. And I have movies playing there in Korean with subtitles. But this is also how I learned English. Well, I learned English in school, but then at home I really got into learning English as well. And I would watch it with subtitles and learn the words with the subtitles. I know the sentence structure is different in Korean than like English. However, it helped me recognize words. There'll be words that you see or hear all the time, and you will pick them up. Or if you don't know a word, you can go into, I wouldn't suggest Google, but there's other translation machines that you can go in and translate those. Because then you can write it down and you'll have a word that will frequently pop up. And you already know what it means. So there's been times now where I would put something on, like Il Bak Il, which is 2 days, 1 night, that variety show. I watch that a lot because I really love it. And there's been times where I had turned off the subtitles for it, but I would watch it and I would understand what's going on. And then I realized something looks different on my screen. So I would look, or at least really pay attention to what's going on. And I would see that there's no subtitles, but I understood everything that was going on. So you will find that the more you read, the more you hear it, or the more you watch shows or something like that, you will start picking up words. That's just how it is, or at least that's how my mind is. So I would highly suggest watching shows. And if you're not comfortable watching dramas yet, or movies in Korean or something like that, don't be embarrassed. Go ahead and watch children's shows. That's another thing I do. Korean kids songs. There's some songs that me and my daughter will sing through the house because we just pick it up. They're easy, they're simple, but you're still learning words. So don't be embarrassed by either reading kids' books, watching kids' shows, or listening to kids' songs. It will all help you learn because that's what it does for the Korean children. The Korean children have that to then learn the language. So it will help you as well. So don't be embarrassed, or if someone says, oh, you're watching kids' show, who cares? You're doing something for you. You're bettering yourself by learning a new language. So I would really suggest, if you're not comfortable either listening to K-pop and reading the lyrics or not comfortable watching movies, go ahead and start with the kid shows, the kid songs. Especially the songs. The tune just gets stuck in your head and you will just keep humming it, and then you'll keep singing it throughout the day and you'll remember the words. Or if you then forget a word, you can easily go back and check what the word means, and you already know it because you've been singing it all day long. So that's really fun. Let's be honest. It's really, really fun and cute. There's another app I use. It's called Hello Talk. However, big flags here. A lot of people use it not like Tinder, but as like a dating app. So you really have to be careful of who you talk to. But it's a great way to talk to natives. And I've found a few friends that I talk to every single day now outside of Hello Talk. We've become really, really good friends. And there's someone that's younger than me. He lives in Canada, and I talk to him a lot. And I became his Nuna, and he calls me Nuna, his older sister. And when something's up with him at school or whatnot, he talks to me about it, and I can give him advice. So again, just be careful of who you talk to. Be mindful of that. Don't just go all out and give all your information out. But, just be smart about it. It is the internet. It is an app. But it is also a great way of talking to natives or getting native opinions or asking questions, sentence structure, or asking them maybe, because you can also do calls on there, free calls. And personally, I have not done that, but you can do that if you're comfortable with it. But it's just a way of getting, the pronunciation right, or asking a native of how to pronounce it, or any other questions that you have, you can ask there. And they have plenty of people from plenty countries. They have Thailand, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, China, Russia, Germany. I think pretty much all the languages you can learn, you can find language partners for it at Hello Talk. Again, warning, some people use it as a dating site. Again, be careful, be mindful of that, be smart about it. Don't just go all in. So yeah, that's how I learned Korean. I do Duolingo every day. I'm not that good at keeping up with the book Korean from Zero, to be quite honest, because I sometimes have limited time during the day to study. But I do love the book a lot. So Korean from Zero. Korean Dungeon is fun. You can do it anywhere. If you're at the doctor's office, but you have to wait, you can just play it and you can study at the same time. You can do that. I actually walk my dog and I have a Korean show on while walking him because I don't have to really watch him. He's on a leash. So I'll be listening to that. Or radio, Korean radios as well. I listen to that every morning, especially when I walk him. But it's just easy. And don't be frustrated if you don't understand in the beginning. It will come to you. You will learn it. It's just a matter of time. The more you study, the more you're on it and keeping up with it, the easier it will get to you, for you. Like for me, it's not that big of a problem now. Even songs now, I start picking out words. I'm not fluent in Korean. I'm not saying any of that. But it's getting easier for me to understand, which is great. Forming sentences myself yet, I'm struggling with. But at least I can understand or figure out what someone's saying to me. I can read it. It takes me a long time to read still. I'm not, a fast reader yet at all. But I'm getting there, and that's the whole point. You don't have to be good from one day to the other. Take your time with it. Don't have people tell you, oh, you should be this and this far. No. Do you. Do it on your time. Don't listen to what other people say of where you should be, because in reality, they don't know where you should be, because you are different than they are. It can be easier for some people. That's why I'm saying the way I'm learning is for me, writing down things and learning them by writing them down. That's how I learn. Maybe you're more visual. Maybe you just need to look at it and you'll remember it. That's fine. But do you, and don't be discouraged. There will be times where you'll feel like, oh, I'm just going to give up because I have no clue what's going on or what to do, or I'm not getting ahead. Don't give up. Just don't give up. It's not going to be easy. Korean is not an easy language to learn, even though personally I don't find it that difficult. But then again, I started out with German. And I think German is a really difficult language for someone to learn that's not native in it. So just tackle it. See it as an adventure and go on that adventure of language learning. And again, you can use these steps to learn other languages. I know it will probably work with Japanese because that's how I picked up some Japanese here and there as well. I know it works for English if you're learning English, but I'm speaking English, so you obviously can speak English. Maybe try German. German might be a little difficult, but I think it would work too, especially if you find apps like Korean Dungeon. I think they have similar apps like that for German as well. If you do that, no problem. So yeah, this is the way I learn Korean, or also how I learned English in a way. Apply it to the language you're learning, and you will be okay. You will be great. So I really hope I gave you some tips that are useful. Again, I use Duolingo, Korean from Zero, Hello Talk, Korean Dungeon, Korean TV shows, Korean radio, and Korean songs, especially kids' songs in the beginning. Use that to help you learn your language, or even if you're learning Korean, use that to help you learn Korean. I want to wish you all a whole lot of luck, good luck, and I'll see you again next time. Annyeong!